The time has come. The battle of the ages. All the vapor gloves compared to each other. You have the 3s, the 4s, and the 6s. Elephant in the room, where are the 5s? You know for the fact I actually got the 5s, I have a video on them, but they have been sent back. And that is because I now consider the 5s a crime against humanity. Yes, I know I used to say they were great. In that review I said that they felt so good and I want to have them, but no, that was until I actually took them for a spin with actual walking, because before that I was testing them like at the gym and the house. But when I took them outside and actually walked a bit, I realized that my toes got absolutely demolished. Like I said, when I put the 5s on, I realized they were so narrow that my big toe was like this, like in typical, regular narrow shoes. Then it felt better. I did not have issues with my small toe like I have with the 6s. So I was like, maybe they're fine. But no, listen, the 5s are atrociously narrow. Good thing about them is the sole is the grippiest of them all. Even grippier than the 5s, grippier than the 6s. Grippiest of them all. I'm going to show you maybe some b-roll because I did the testing. That is the 6. That is the 4, less grip. And that is the 5. You cannot move that thing. So the sole on the 5s is top notch. It's not as flexible though as the 6 and the 4s and the 3s probably, but it is amazing for traction. Now, if you have a narrow foot, you will be fine with the 5s. Otherwise, the tongue bounces up a bit if they're not exactly sized the right way. They have issues. The 5s are not vapor gloves. I will say it again, the toe guard is very restricting on the big toe as well. So, let's focus on the 3s, 4s and 6s. Which one should you get and which one is the best? That's not going to be easy to answer, so the short answer is the 4s have the best upper. That should have stayed forever and should be used a lot in other shoes as well, but it's not. I don't know why. It is Cordura. It is extremely durable, abrasion resistant. They actually use that in like motorcycle jackets in general, motorcycle wear and stuff. Extremely durable. Has a tiny bit of water resistance as well if you like spray it, because it's very knitted, like it's very close knitted, and extremely breathable, extremely flexible. It's just made for the vapor glove. This is an amazing upper. Cordura upper is the best upper you will get on a vapor glove, and unfortunately it's only on the 4s. Sole. Which sole is the best? Well, that's going to be harder to answer. I would say the overall best is the sole on the 3s. Very disappointingly so, I know, because this is the oldest version here. But the sole on the 3 is the best combination of durability and performance. This is stickier, for sure. This is stickier. It also has lugs, so it's going to be a tiny bit better off-road. Same with the 6. The 6 is even more of a deviation than the 4. Like the 4 became more laggy and stickier, so less durable. This is even more laggy and even less durable. So the sole on the 6 is basically the 4, but even more improved towards more of a trail sole. Also, the 4 is better in the wet than the 6. The 3 is probably better than the 4, or they're the same, I'm not sure. Maybe the 4 is better in the wet, but it has lugs, so there is less surface area. It's a toss-up, really. The 4s have amazing traction, for sure though, I can guarantee you that. But they will not last as long. Like if you see, this is the wear on a 3-year-old plus Vapor Glove 3. I have walked quite a bit with those shoes. Now, if I just go here and show you my old pair of 4s, this is a wear on that. This is done. You go out and you keep using that, you're gonna have a nice hole through. I made a video on how I restored the traction by sanding the outer layer here, but actually the sides have cracked. In the 4s, you're also seeing that. In the 6s, you're also seeing that the sides are starting to crack. There is no way I can show you in the camera, but these have barely been used compared to those and compared to the 3s. So similar use in the 3s and the 4s. The 3s are much more durable. And that is something you should consider for sure. Now, when it comes to filling, unfortunately, with the 3s, they only come in leather, and the Eco version, which I also got and I sent back because it's like a thick cotton canvas. It's not ideal, it's not going to be breathable. I had no use scenario for it. You might think it's going to be better in the cold. No, it's not going to be, because in the cold, 80% of the cold is going to go through the actual soles. Guaranteed. I'm telling you, your feet will freeze. That doesn't matter what kind of upper you have. If there is no separation between you and the absolutely frozen ground, and you know it's frozen if you wore like barefoot shoes in the cold, if there is no separation, you're going to freeze. 100%. So the leathers are the only available version right now that is worth buying. But of course, because they're leather, they're going to be less flexible than the fours, which are Cordura. So I don't mean like actual flexibility. If I flex them, usually they're similar. But again, it's going to be like, look, the threes. This is also the threes. This leather for some reason is a bit stiffer than the black ones. I don't know why, even though it's supposed to be the same. But yeah, obviously this is going to be a very flexible shoe. Just like the fours, right? But of course that's going to be much more flexible. The difference is you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that this is more comfortable than the leather when it comes to like athletic activities or, you know, summertime wear, whatever. So that's that. Now the sizing. Again, we have the threes, the fours, and the sixes. The sizing is a bit weird. I'm not sure about the mesh version of the threes because those don't exist anymore. You can only get them used. I only have the leathers. Those are 44.5s. The sixes are 45s. Those two fit the same, but the sixes, even though they're half a size bigger, they restrict my small toe. The fours are also 45s. Because in 44.5, again, I had an issue with my small toe. So those are 45s. But in 45, they're maybe a bit longer than I would like. Now, you cannot see it when you look at them. They look basically the same size. But the 3s are 44.5, the 4s are 45, and the 6s are also 45. The 6s are perfectly sized. The 3s in 44.5, perfectly sized. But the 6s give me an issue with my small toe, even though they're half a size bigger. The 4s, they're also half a size bigger, but they feel too big for my foot. But unfortunately, the 44.5s for perfect, but I had an issue with my small toe. So, I don't know what to tell you. The 3s are obviously a bit bigger. They're definitely a bit wider. The 4s and the 6s and the 5s, they're the same size. Now the 5s, I got also in 45. 44.5 I also tried. They were way too small. Way too small. No way. Smaller than those in 44.5. And probably smaller than those too. Overall, I will say the 5s are the smallest fitting when it comes to the toe box because they're too narrow. But at the same time, that leads people to getting the 5s too big, and then the tongue starts bouncing up and they look horrible. So yeah, that's how the sizing works. Now, breathability. Listen, breathability is very similar. Those obviously are the most flexible. The 6s are the most flexible and the most breathable, right? Because they have holes everywhere. The 4s, though, despite the Cordura, are similarly breathable, but they also have a bit of water resistance and they also will not get soaked as much when you get them wet, so they will dry faster, I assume. I haven't tested, but they should dry faster. This is a very spongy material. The benefit of the 6s is that they also have a nice collar here that will keep your heel in, unlike the 4s and unlike the 3s. The 5s could also keep your heel in because they had like a cup in the back. Those also have a cup, but the 5s were more pronounced. So this is the basic overview. I know this probably doesn't answer your question of which ones you get. Listen, I would say because the 3s are only leather, if you don't need a leather shoe, or they also look more casual, so you can actually have worn them in jobs and stuff. These are the blacks, but I've put white laces on, so they look really good for jobs. If you're looking for something to use in a job and stuff, get the leathers. The 6s also come in leather versions, but I will not get them because they will be even narrower. Because leather obviously is going to be stiffer than the mesh. With the 6s I have an issue because they're too narrow for my small toe. So I would say it's between the 4s and the 6s. And between those two, the overall better shoe is the 4. Why? Because it has this amazing Cordura upper. This upper is fine, but whatever. This is better though. The sole is better in the wet. This is probably gonna be better on a trail, like light trail, a bit of a dirt road. But this also has lugs, so actually let me show you the new pair. They both have lugs, but those lugs are a bit more aggressive. But this will be better in the wet because those lugs are too thin, so less surface area. So you have slightly better upper, better in the wet. Flexibility is similar, the 5s are more flexible, the 6s are more flexible, but it's very marginal. However, the 6 is also in the same size, those are both 45s. Destroy my small toe, and there's nothing I can do about them. I'll try maybe to stretch them at the cobbler, but they might fall apart actually. The weight is flimsy. So sole durability is gonna be similar, but probably the 6 will have worse sole durability because with some use, I'm already seeing them getting worn down. So overall, the 4s and the 6s are very, very similar. If the mesh version of the 3s was still around, I would say get the 3s, even though the upper durability on the 3s was horrible, but they're still better. So between the 4s and the 6s, I would say the 4s is going to be a more reliable option, but it is so close that I would say just get whichever you like best. Like this looks a bit more normal despite the guard. This looks a bit more extreme. What do you want to do? You're going to go on trails and like outdoor workouts and you don't really care about many things, or you want something you can wear at the gym, maybe at classes, whatever you're doing. Those are probably more versatile. So it's a toss-up between the 4s and the 6s. The 3s only exist in leather, so if you want something casual, maybe more wear resistant, but also keep in mind, yes, those are leather, they will never wear down, but the soles on the 6s will almost certainly get unglued eventually. Now, this is a good version. You don't see much separation at all, almost no separation. But on these guys, and as you will see in many reviews, those were separating the moment I got them. Seriously. I put some glue in there and stuff, but it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Because the leather is stiffer, obviously, on the sole, you will eventually get separation. So even though they seem more durable, because the sole individually and the upper individually, they're more durable, but if the sole gets unglued, maybe you can glue it back, whatever. So it's up to you. So yeah, I would say get the 4 or the 6, whichever you feel better when you look at it. Get one of those. You will not be disappointed. I think the overall better version is the 4. Like better, maybe upper durability, more versatile also looks wise. I don't know. Better in the wet for sure because those are quite slippery in the wet compared to those. I think the 4 is the best version. And most importantly, if you have even slightly wider toes, you might have an issue in the outer edge here like I do, which makes them unwearable. I would have worn those 10 times more. At the same time, lower volume feet, you will appreciate the color here because it holds on your foot, while this one, look, you just slip out. So you need more volume here to keep your foot inside, while this, look, there's a hook. So that's it. It's up to you. Better soles, better uppers, flexibility. I would say if you can, just let's give them a try. Like maybe get them from Amazon if you get free returns. Put them on your feet and make up your mind. So yeah, that's it. That was a comparison. 3s, 4, 6s. Whichever one you get, I think those are like the best performance barefoot shoes around. Stay tuned. I also have a couple of zeros coming because I got them in a huge discount. Also some sandals. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.